So if you guys want to follow me on Instagram, it's do better_fitness, and that's for my work one, and our car one is watch_German_cars. Okay, please enjoy the video. So this is a video I've been asked to make so many times now, so I'm finally going to do it. I'm going to be comparing my SQ8. It's a 4-liter, they say tri-turbo, but one's an electronic supercharger. To our Audi e-tron 55, which is an electric car, and it's the one with the big battery, and it used to be the fast one. When I bought this, so this is the fastest electric Audi they had. Now you can get the e-tron S, or you can get the GT, which are faster. Even though these may look very similar, the SQ8 is bigger. It does feel more spacious and more luxurious. So on the screen I have posted the inches and centimeters, so you can look yourself. So the wheelbase itself is actually 2.67 inches longer in the SQ8. The length of the overall SQ8 is 4.14 inches longer, and width is 2 inches and 36 wider in the SQ8, 3.62 inches higher in the SQ8. And the SQ8 is 441 lbs lighter as well than the e-tron 55. And to make everything even better, the SQ8 can pull 3,748 more pounds in towing. And honestly, if you're going to tow, don't tow with the e-tron. It absolutely eats its fuel economy range. It's honestly a joke when you're towing anything. Where in the SQ8, at least it's a big diesel engine, or you can have the petrol variant, we can still tow. The seats in both honestly are very comfortable. They're like sofa chairs. The SQ8 has more bolstering, so it's going to hold you in if you're going to corner a little faster. And I do like the cross stitch pattern. Just like everything so far, the SQ8 is bigger. So that's the e-tron right here, and this is the SQ8. So it's wider opening, and definitely look, you can fit a lot of stuff. That's a kid's bathtub and a full grocery list shopping. We normally put 2 push chairs, a backpack, and there's still plenty of space. The e-tron steering wheel is nice. It's designed for more of a less sporty feel and look. The SQ8 has 2 options. You can get a round one, or you can get the flat bottom. The flat bottom comes with more of the sports package. Unfortunately, with the flat bottom, you no longer get the heated steering wheel, which I kind of miss. And the main reason why the SQ8 is better is you can use the climate control, the heated seats, and everything how you want. And it's not going to affect your range as severely as it does in an electric vehicle. So under the hood, this is the V8 petrol version SQ8. This is our TDI V8. And then here is the e-tron. The e-tron does get storage because there's no motor underneath the front hood like in a conventional sense. And you can fit the charger if you wanted, or you can fit other things. Which helps because the trunk on the e-tron 55 is slightly smaller than the SQ8. Inside, honestly, the space is very similar. The SQ8 is a little bigger, so you can still fit an adult in between the 2 kid seats. And once the kids are bigger, they're going to definitely have more leg room in the SQ8. It's a lot easier to pump diesel or petrol than it is to charge an EV. If this clip right here is a little bit loose, it keeps giving an error to the car and it will not let you CCS. That's the fast charging network. Both sets of Audis have good gauges. I do like the SQ8 gauge better because it's a little sportier, and that's more of my liking. The kid seats do fit in all 3 of the vehicles just fine. The biggest nuisance is actually just transferring the car seat back and forth. We were going to use the e-tron, but unfortunately couldn't get it on charge again. So we're going to take the seats out of the SQ8 and put it in the Mercedes because I don't want to move 2 cars just to go somewhere. It's just a little too annoying.
The only positive thing I can say about this car is the ride can be comfortable and the seats are nice. Besides that, I wouldn't say anything is really great about this car, and if you are thinking of getting this car, I'd say don't. Just stick to petrol for now until the system has changed. There's a lot more chargers. I wouldn't ever recommend this. We are trying to go to another city, and before we go, we would usually put in petrol. With an electric car, you'd have to go and charge. So we go to a charger. The first one we've gone to the charger is broken. So now we look for the next available charger, and there is somebody already plugged in. So they've already plugged in, but they're not charging. So now we're just waiting either for them to finish or to find another charger, which has already wasted about 45 minutes before we even start our journey, and then it will be the same thing on the way back. So it just really dampens your day. It's just inconvenient, it's not practical, and I would not recommend an electric vehicle to anybody.
Okay, so here's my normal consumption in the e-tron when you start off. Most of the time I can actually just get this almost for like 13-14 miles, so 0.7 miles to kilowatt hour. That's horrible. You can see my short term is 1.7 and my long term is 2.2. 2.2 really isn't good enough. The Teslas get a lot better, and unfortunately the 2.2 is only because I stopped using this on the motorway and started just using it on side streets and country roads. Similar story in the SQ8. When you start off, it's getting 7 mpg, which isn't that great, but that's only until the car warms up. And then short term 39.5, I can get up to 41 if I'm using the motorway, and that's amazing, honestly. Both are very comfortable. I like the e-tron's interior because it's two-tone. The SQ8 looks sportier inside, and I prefer the steering wheel in the SQ8. They both ride very well. I do prefer the SQ8 in ride because in dynamic it's just a little bit sportier. So both the SQ8 and the e-tron 55 have air suspension with many different modes. You can pick which mode is best for your situation. Like there's off-road, there's all-road if you're going to run over a lot of like very large bumps in the road if the roads are horrible. All-road happens to also be one of the higher modes in suspension travel. And then there's the dynamic. In the e-tron, efficient gives you the lowest ride height, but even in inefficiency it still doesn't go as low as the SQ8 goes in its dynamic setting. So total SQ8 has 8.23 inches of ground clearance, whereas the e-tron only has 6.8. So the Audi e-tron 55 does have a claimed range of 249 miles. You can use their own website and calculate how far the vehicle will go based on the temperature outside and if you're going to use air conditioning or heating and what kind of roads you're going to be using. Realistically, I'm lucky if I see 134. So that's a big difference, but everything does affect the range, unfortunately. And unfortunately, it does take a while to put back the range into the car with the charging systems that we have in the UK. So here's 100% charge. It's showing a range of 169. That does change quite fast. So once I turn on the heating or once I drive a little faster, it will really affect my range. So the SQ8, this is the TDI. Yes, I have had the petrol and TDI. If you want to see the comparison of that, watch my other video. But for this one, I'm just going to be comparing the TDI because this is the one that I picked better for our family duties. So in this one, I can get 575 miles per full tank. That's ideal. That only happens if I do more motorway miles. So on average, I'm getting like 525, and that's still so much more than the e-tron could ever hope to get. And also, this is so much cheaper for me to run, and I don't have to waste so much time charging it. But like I said in one of my previous videos, my C63 was more fuel efficient than the e-tron GT55 thing. So you really gotta pick carefully when you're doing. And plus, for an SUV, I think it's pointless for it to be an EV because to me, an SUV is used in bad weather, winter, off-roading, going on like really bad surfaces, taking the dogs out. So right there, an electric car just doesn't work because it's too annoying for me to charge it. It gets really bad range when the winter's here, and that's when I'm going to use it. So I think realistically, if I'm going to get another EV, it's going to need to be a smaller battery. It's going to need to be just a city car, and then I would literally just use it in town. Both the Audis have amazing headlights. They're both very quiet in the cabin. Because the EV doesn't have engine noise, it feels like it's a little louder in the cabin because you can hear a little bit more wind. This might also be because the SQ8 has a little bit more like sound insulation inside. It is more of a luxury car, I would think. It is their top of their fleet vehicle. next biggest gripe is going to be the charging infrastructure. It's just not there. It's not ready. There's too many problems. There's too many different systems. The location and the length of the cables is also a problem. As you can see, this is a fast charger. This place has 16 slow chargers, which I think are like 3 kilowatts, which is way too slow. And they have one fast charger. And they have a 22, which is all right. The Tesla is using the 22. Unfortunately, his plug and my plug are located on that same side, so I have to drive in straight to plug in, and if I don't, then I'm having to block 2 other spaces just so I can use the port, which is quite unfortunate. And this is one of the main problems with the charging infrastructure. They're not designed to fit all cars, and there's just not enough. So near us, there's this one, and there is one other charging facility that is fast enough to charge our car. If you go on the 3 kilowatt chargers, it's not going to get enough juice. And these parking places are also restricted. You can't park here more than 2 hours. In 2 hours, I wouldn't get back on a slow charger what it used to even get here. So I have to pay more and I have to use this. If you're only going to charge at home, then you don't have a problem. But realistically, you're going to take the car more than 100 and something miles. You're going to have to charge out. Here's the best charger that we have found. It's called InstaVolt. So they do charge from 50 kilowatts, and they have some that are 125, 150, and those are what's going to charge your car the fastest. Here is a promotion code that will give you £5 off your first charge. So it's called a referral code. My code is E, small case, large Q, large P, large Q, small p. And that will give you the £5 off your first charge. Hopefully that helps you guys to get into EVs. And this code will be put into the phone app when you download it. That's the best way to pay at these InstaVolt locations. So you can see it's slightly cold. It's 46 outside. I'm just going to turn on the heating, and as I just turn it up, I'm going to put it to 3, and look what happened to my range. It's not like it's on that high. 67 and 3, that's not that hot. And this happened in an outside temperature of 46. So you can see that it does lose 20 miles range. This gets worse the colder it is outside. So therefore, we no longer use this in winter. So it's starting to snow. Pointless to use e-trons. We're going to move it to the garage. Otherwise, it basically just gets no range. Put the SQ out here. It's not going to make much difference in the SQ8 if it's cold or hot outside. It gets pretty much the same kind of fuel economy. So this is the kind of driving you've just seen that we mostly do. So this is why this is still one of the best cars that we've had. Mostly we do freeway trips, or the very long freeway trips. And occasionally we get to go on those A or B roads that are nice and twisty. But for that you can put it in dynamic. And unfortunately, since the car is so big, we don't get to do those very often because it's just too big for the roads. But like I said, mostly we're on the freeway. Nice family car. And we got a ton of power. Look forwards. And you'll see, I'm just going to accelerate. So watch how easy I pass everything. Even while passing and using a lot of throttle, I'm still getting 38.7. And I am doing the speed limit. So no surprise to anybody, I would pick the SQ8 as the best SUV out of these two. Thanks for all the questions. And if you do have a question, message me and I really will try to make you a video. Please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I will see you guys next Wednesday for another video. That one's going to be the video that I'm making for Andy to help him pick his next SUV. See you guys later. Bye-bye.